In this bug-infested world where giant insects crashed the party of human existence, our space for survival had already been squished tighter than jeans after laundry day. Thanks to the spicy magic of spirit contracts, humanity clung to its last hopes like a bad ex who just won't let go, defending the final safe zones like they were designer handbags on sale. Here, women awaken into fierce and fabulous spirit forms when they hit adulthood, while men awaken as spirit masters, basically the hot handlers of magical mayhem. Together, they tango through the battlefield. With the tag team power of spirit masters and their dazzling spirit partners, humans somehow manage to cling to their last stand like glitter to skin after a music festival. And right now, Qingting Academy was throwing its annual awakening ceremony, an event so packed with tension and hope, it might as well have been a blind date with fate. A girl stepped up, placed her hand on the awakening stone, and boom, instant transformation into a C-Class Semedio. The registration teacher barely blinked. Meh. C-Class talents were basically the instant noodles of this world, everywhere, nothing special. Then came the showstopper. A girl with a dangerously revealing outfit and curves that could reroute traffic stepped onto the platform like she owned the place. With a smirk and a sultry touch on the awakening stone, time seemed to freeze. The world held its breath, part from awe, part from trying not to drool. In the next instant, a dazzling beam of light shot up from the awakening stone like a disco ball with delusions of grandeur, lighting up the sky like someone had flipped the sun's on switch early. Standing center stage on the awakening platform, Xiaomei had transformed into a blood-red spear, sleek, deadly, and practically dripping with "don't mess with me" energy. The awakening teacher nearly popped a vein as he shouted, voice trembling with excitement, an S-Class weapon, the J-Blood Silver Spear. Its signature? An ethereal spirit that just won't quit, literally indestructible. A true one-in-a-million glow-up. The crowd went wild, buzzing like caffeinated bees at a gossip convention. After all, it had been years since Qingting Academy saw an S-Class talent walk, or in this case, spear, onto the scene. But wait, there was more. Normally, S-Class spirits get one shiny trait. Xiaomei had two. It was so rare, even the awakening teacher nearly short-circuited. Then, as if the drama wasn't already peaking, she returned to her human form, all icy poise and killer heels. She walked straight up to me, expression colder than my DMs, and said with zero hesitation, "Han Zhan, let's break up." Her voice, crisp. Her words, lethal. "I've awakened an S-Class spirit, and you, as an ordinary person, are no longer worthy of me. We're not in the same league anymore, so don't bother me again." Damn. That breakup hit harder than a spirit blast to the chest, and she didn't even flinch. The crowd immediately started mocking me, their words dripping with so much scorn it could have been bottled and sold as bitter perfume. According to them, I was unworthy of someone as dazzlingly exceptional as Xiaomei. I frowned, bitterness rising like bad coffee, as her words hit hard and cold, zero concern for my feelings, just a runway walk of ego wrapped in freshly awakened talent. But what she didn't realize, I wasn't that spineless little simp she used to keep on emotional leash duty. Nope. That guy was gone. I was standing on the edge of a glow-up so fierce, it could make the heavens blush. Before I crossed over, I practically turned myself into a human doormat trying to please her, killed my pride, danced like a trained puppy, and what did I get? Her never-ending side-eye and premium-grade disdain. Now I get it. In this world of spirit contracts and survival of the flashiest, raw strength is the only thing people bow to. No power. No respect. End of story. The classmates around me weren't pulling any punches either. The mockery came in fast and furious, so many cruel analogies, I felt like I'd become the star roast at a comedy night. According to them, I was a lowly pheasant trying to flirt with a phoenix in heels. Their laughter was a little too loud, their metaphors a little too creative. These sycophants? Oh, they worship power the way cults worship doomsday, loudly, desperately, and with zero shame. Aren't they even slightly worried I might awaken a talent that goes beyond S-Class and pop their inflated egos like cheap balloons? Guess not. The moment those words left my lips, Xiao Mei threw her head back and laughed, loud, sultry, and soaked in mockery. She looked at me like I'd just declared myself king of the moon. "Awaken something above S-Class," she purred, voice sharp enough to slice through steel. You think you're worthy?" Ouch. That one came with extra sass and a side of condescension. Before I could toss a comeback, the awakening teacher finally called my name. Showtime. As a transmigrator, this was the moment I'd been waiting for, fate's little talent reveal party just for me. My heart was thumping like a drum solo, full of delicious tension and hungry curiosity. What would I awaken? Would it be enough to wipe the smug off their faces and give these mockers a reason to rethink their entire existence? I stepped forward, cool as ever, and slowly placed my hand on the awakening stone. My fingers tingled. My breath caught. A storm of tension and anticipation swirled inside me. I had no idea what was coming next, but I had a feeling it was going to be legendary. To everyone's surprise, the awakening stone didn't even blink. No flash of light, no cosmic spectacle, just pure, unbothered silence. The room was instantly filled with the sweet, sweet sound of mocking laughter. Xiao Mei, of course, was loving it. She flashed a smug little smirk, eyes glinting with triumph. "I knew you were a waste," she purred, voice dripping with superiority. "Hoping to awaken something above S-Class? Please. You're just dreaming." Her minions around her chimed in, all nodding like synchronized bobbleheads, praising Xiao Mei's impeccable judgment while taking every opportunity to trash my delusions. But just when they thought they'd scored the ultimate mic drop, something extra special happened. A blinding golden light erupted from the awakening stone, so bright it could have turned night into day. It spiraled into the sky like a golden vortex, wild and untamed, shocking the whole room into stunned silence. This can't be. How could I possibly awaken an SSS-Class talent? The shock hit me like a truck, but I wasn't the only one reeling. The girls? Oh, they didn't waste a second flipping the script. One by one, their attitudes did a complete 180, and suddenly, they were all over me. "Brother Han Zhan, choose me. Even though my talents just B-class, I'm obedient and sensible. I swear, I won't let you down." Then another piped up, flashing a coy grin. "Brother Han Zhan, look over here. I can cosplay a new character every day, different styles, fresh experiences, endless variety." She winked, practically wiggling in her excitement. I couldn't help but roll my eyes, turning down their contract requests without a second thought. Let's be real, these basic spirits. They were only going to hold me back, like a slow-loading app. Not my style. My focus was razor-sharp, only spirits with real potential were worthy of my time. I eagerly opened my attribute template, eyes practically sparkling with anticipation. As expected, the divine talent didn't disappoint. Not only did it help me pinpoint the perfect weapon spirit, but it also gave me the power to massively enhance their key attributes through the contract. This was the power of heavenly unity, a game changer. I could form countless contracts with weapon spirits, unlocking potential that most could only dream of. At that moment, Xiao Mei, her cheeks flushed and her confidence wobbling, nervously approached me from behind. With just the right mix of hesitation and vulnerability in her voice, she said, "I was wrong before. Let's make up." But wait, she didn't stop there. With a shy little twinkle in her eye, she added, "From today on, I'll allow you to hold my hand." I turned my head, and there she was, nervous, wide-eyed, and practically holding her breath. She was playing the part of the repentant ex with full-on dedication. Then, just when I thought I'd seen it all, her detailed info suddenly appeared before my eyes. Divine sight? It had to be. I couldn't even pretend to be surprised anymore. But the real kicker? Xiao Mei, clearly reading the silence on my face, assumed I was still unsatisfied. She quickly added, her tone a mixture of desperate charm and awkwardness. Okay, at most, a kiss? Maybe one step further? Her voice was so full of uncertainty, it almost sounded pitiful. Snapping back to reality, I rejected her offer without even flinching. Nope, I said, and she reluctantly took a step back, muttering under her breath with just a hint of grievance. Not even once? Han Jiang, can you handle it? I didn't even glance her way. No means no, sweetheart. The surrounding female students, overhearing Xiao Mei's pitiful plea, didn't hold back. Their jeers hit like a slap to the face. Stop pretending to be all innocent, little white flower, one sneered. You dumped him earlier, and now you're acting like the world's most expensive girlfriend? How thick-skinned can you get? Another girl jumped in, her tone dripping with mockery. If it weren't for the fact that Summer High's beauty is stuck with a level 1 talent, who'd even give you the time of day? Talk about delusional. The insults just kept coming, each one sharper than the last. Sure, our campus queen is pretty, but at the end of the day, she's nothing more than a useless vase. The mockery didn't let up. Anyone who picks her might not even make it past the lowest level of the exam, someone added, as if they were delivering a harsh truth. By now, Xiao Mei's face had gone from nervous to crushed. She couldn't hold back the tears anymore, her whole body trembling with a mix of embarrassment, shame, and heartache. Xiao Mei couldn't take the mocking and ridicule anymore. Her tears welled up, and in a panicked rush, she dashed away from the crowd, her steps all over the place like she was auditioning for a new slapstick comedy. But then, bam, she ran straight into my arms, her body trembling like a startled kitten that had finally found a safe, very manly refuge. Without missing a beat, I reached out, steadying her, my voice soft but with a touch of concern. Are you all right? I'm sorry, did I hurt you? But just as I was about to play the hero, her info popped up before my eyes. Apparently, her contracted spirit wasn't just any spirit, it was Fushi Qin, one of the 10 ancient divine artifacts. And yet, her talent was E-level? That was a plot twist I wasn't prepared for. My mind buzzed with excitement. This unexpected contrast? It was like finding a hidden treasure chest on a random Tuesday. My heart skipped a beat, this was going to be interesting. Yes, it was her. This seemingly delicate girl, so sweet, so fragile-looking, yet brimming with immense potential. The very spirit I'd been waiting for. Xiao Yu's face was flushed with embarrassment, her eyes full of regret as she muttered a string of apologies, convinced it was all her fault. I couldn't help but smile inwardly, knowing she had no clue how perfect she actually was for me. I gently patted her head, my voice low and soothing. Don't be so tense. I'm not blaming you. Looking deep into her eyes, I went for the big moment, my voice turning a little more serious. Xiao Wei, I hope you'll walk this path with me, becoming my exclusive contracted spirit, facing the challenges ahead together. Will you? Before she could even open her mouth to respond, the girls around us couldn't hold it in anymore. The sneers started flying, thick with disdain and jealousy. Even if you have an SSS level talent, contracting with a useless E level like her will only drag you down, Xiao Mei shot back, her face twisted in a cocktail of fury and disbelief. You'd refuse a powerful S-level spirit like me, but pick an E-level piece of trash instead? Her words were practically sizzling with scorn, but I couldn't help but chuckle internally. Talk about sour grapes. Before I could even respond, the principal stormed onto the stage, his face set in a stern frown, as if he were about to lecture a bunch of unruly students at a parent-teacher meeting. He waved his hand dramatically and said, Han Zhan, I must strongly oppose this. You bear the hope of our nation's future, and you shouldn't make such a decision out of mere impulse. The principal wasn't finished. I understand the impulsiveness of youth, he said, his voice firm and carrying that lecture hall authority, but you carry the future of our nation. You're tasked with reviving humanity in a world overrun by insect hordes. Contracting a spirit is a serious matter, it's not something to be taken lightly. Xiao Yu lowered her head, her tears making a reappearance, streaming down her cheeks like she was auditioning for a drama. She sniffled, her voice cracking as she choked out, "The principal is right. My talent is too weak, unworthy of contracting with you." She paused, taking a deep, shaky breath, and then added, with a soft, almost defeated smile, "But still, thank you for considering me." Just as the tension hit its peak, a middle-aged man barged onto the field with a few lackeys trailing behind. It was Zhao Hu, the so-called defender of Deep Blue City. He glared at me like I'd just stolen his lunch, his voice cold and cutting. "Han Zhan, right? You've been making quite the scene today." Xiao Mei, seeing her knight in shining armor, immediately bolted toward him like a love-struck puppy. "Godfather," she called sweetly, practically bouncing in her excitement. Zhao Hu turned his frosty gaze on me, his voice laced with menace. "I hear you're using your SS-level talent to bully my goddaughter. Getting a little too bold, don't you think?" The guy wasn't done yet, he was like a bad version of a motivational speaker. "Believe me or not, one word from me, Zhao Hu, and no one in Deep Blue City will dare to contract with you. You'd better be smart, apologize, and contract with my daughter right now, or I'll make sure you don't survive here." I took a long, deliberate glance at him, my expression colder than a popsicle in the Arctic. Without missing a beat, I delivered my 3 words, each one sharper than the last: "She's not worthy." The contempt in my voice hit like a slap, leaving everyone around us frozen in shock. Zhao Hu's face went from 0 to fiery red in record time, his eyes practically sparking with rage as he raised his hand, probably gearing up to teach me a lesson. But before he could do anything, the principal stepped in like the world's most overworked referee, blocking the showdown. "Deputy Zhao, please, stay calm," the principal urged, his tone somewhere between concerned and about to lose his job. "He's an SSS-level awakener, and I've already reported this to the higher-ups. We can't act rashly." Zhao Hu sneered, his expression as sharp as a blade. "Letting him off? Maybe. But there's one condition. He must contract with that useless spirit, Xiao Yu, or we're done here." At that, I couldn't help but feel a little thrill. This was exactly what I wanted. With barely a moment's hesitation, I smirked and responded, "Fine. I'm willing to contract with Xiao Yu. And no one's stopping me today." I reached out and gently took Xiao Yu's hand, my fingers brushing against hers with just the right amount of drama. I firmly guided Xiao Yu toward the contract chamber, the whole crowd watching us like we were the main event at a sold-out concert. Her head was lowered, tears streaming down her face like someone had just opened the floodgates. "I'm sorry, Han Zhan," she choked out. "It's all because of me. I've dragged you down." I gave her hair a gentle stroke, my smile both reassuring and a little bit confident. "There's no need to apologize. To me, you're someone worth giving everything for." In the contract chamber, the air was charged with electricity, and the ritual kicked off in full force. A massive golden array slowly formed beneath our feet, glowing like the world's most expensive carpet. Golden chains shot out from every direction, wrapping us both up in an unbreakable bond. The energy was electric, and as the ritual continued, I could feel the power coursing through us. Without hesitation, I activated my divine summon skill. In an instant, my eyes blazed with a dazzling golden light, radiating an aura that screamed, divine majesty. The moment I tapped into that power, Xiao Yu's body started to heat up like a furnace, her form shifting and morphing as if the universe itself was bending to my will. And then, bam, there it was. The Fushur Zither, a stunning ancient artifact, appeared before me, exuding an aura of timeless elegance. I couldn't help but grin like a kid on Christmas morning, holding the Fushur Zither close to my chest as if it were the crown jewel of the entire world. Excitement surged through me as I realized what had just happened. Xiao Yu had gone from an E-level spirit to a full-blown SSS-level powerhouse. Now that's what I call an upgrade. The energy in the room shifted, the air thick with awe as the presence of the Fushar Zither filled every corner of the chamber. As I held her, the Fushar Zither gracefully transformed back into Xiao Yu's human form. Her eyes sparkled with unshed tears, her face a picture of disbelief as she tried to comprehend the magnitude of what had just happened. Before I could say a word, Xiao Yu, overwhelmed with emotion, practically launched herself into my arms, tears streaming down her face like waterfalls. She clung to me, voice trembling, and managed to choke out, "Thank you, Han Zhan. Thank you for helping me find my strength." I held her close, savoring the moment. There was something so satisfying about being the one to give someone that kind of power. The moment I successfully bonded with Xiao Yu, 3 melodies lit up in front of me like musical cheat codes. First was Battle Array Melody, pure offense, loud and wild like a rock concert at war. Then came Tranquil Heart, healing vibes so soothing, it felt like getting hugged by spring sunshine. And finally, Dragon Soars, support magic wrapped in a sensual rain of notes that touched everything just right. Xiao Yu's abilities weren't just strong, they were chef's kiss versatile. In her spirit form, she was the whole package, grace, power, no obvious flaws, like a top-tier idol with the stats to back it up. Nothing about her could be dismissed. With Xiao Yu by my side, I could feel my swagger dial up to 11. Tomorrow's spirit contract exam? We were going to blow minds, drop jaws, and steal spotlights. Meanwhile, back at the awakening ceremony, Xiaomei was still glued to Zhao Hu like a clingy ex at a reunion. Pouting with practiced flair, she clung to his arm like a spoiled drama queen. "Godfather, that jerk Han Zhan totally humiliated your precious goddaughter at school today. You have to make it up to me." Zhao Hu let out a smooth, unbothered chuckle, stroking his beard like a smug Bond villain. "Don't worry. He's hitched himself to an E-level spirit. That's basically career suicide. He just threw his future in the trash with a bow on top. Let's see how long he keeps playing the big shot." Xiao Hu's grin dropped into a deadly sneer. "I'll make sure he can't even breathe in Deep Blue City. He thinks he's the main character? Please. In this city, I write the script. And spoiler alert, he doesn't get a happy ending." Xiaomei batted her lashes and purred, "Thank you, Godfather." He gave her a sly look, a smirk curling at the corner of his lips. "Just saying thank you? That won't cut it. How exactly do you plan to repay me?" Blushing like a guilty vixen, she burrowed into his arms and whispered, "Oh, you're so bad. Let's go to our usual spot tonight. And this time, let's really have some fun." And just like that, by sunrise, Deep Blue City was drowning in digital drama. Negative press about me flooded every feed like a scandalous soap opera. Rumors, lies, spicy headlines, it was open season. People were petitioning to kick me out of the city and drop me straight into the miserable, bug-infested gutters of the lower district like last week's leftovers. Meanwhile, in a luxurious suite at a 5-star hotel, Xiao Hu lounged like a mafia boss on vacation, comfortably nestled on the velvet sofa, scrolling his phone as a tsunami of online insults rolled in. A smug little smirk crept onto his lips as he thought to himself, "This move worked even better than I imagined." Xiaomei, blushing just enough to sell the sweet and spicy vibe, leaned close to Zhao, her gaze dripping with admiration and the kind of dependence that would make a soap opera blush. With a sugary tone and eyes full of sparkle, she cooed, "Godfather, you're truly amazing. You always come up with such brilliant ideas." Zhao Hu, already enjoying the ego massage, gave her a teasing once-over and raised a brow. "Oh? In which way am I amazing, exactly?" His voice oozed pride and playfulness, half flirt, half Bond villain on his day off. Xiaomei giggled and gave him a playful nudge, her tone equal parts coy and cheeky. "Oh, stop it, Godfather. You're amazing in every way." Her eyes twinkled like she was in on some private joke, the flirtation practically winking. But just as the moment simmered with sugary tension, Zhao Hu's smile turned glacial. His voice dropped into something low and lethal, slicing through the air with ruthless clarity. This wave of public opinion is just the appetizer. The real show is yet to come. When the assessment day arrives, I'll make sure that Brat understands the true meaning of cruelty and mercilessness. At that moment, Xiaoyu and I strutted into the academy cafeteria like we owned the place. Okay, more like I strutted and she tried to disappear into her school uniform. The second we stepped in, the air shifted. Students started whispering like they were auditioning for a gossip podcast, their eyes darting toward us like we were the day's scandal special. Someone snorted, loud enough for it to land like a slap. "Look, isn't that Han Zhan, the guy who shackled himself to that E-grade eye candy? Poor guy must have taken a hit to the head. All for a pretty face." Xiaoyu flinched, her cheeks paling like she'd just been caught sneaking snacks during class. Guilt flickered in her eyes like a glitchy LED. She lowered her head and whispered, voice soft as steamed buns. "I'm sorry. It's all because of me that people are talking like this." I gave a lazy little grin and reached over to ruffle her hair, gently, like she was both my partner and my precious investment. "Hey, cut that out. Apologizing's not your job. You're the school's beauty queen. Don't let a few keyboard warrior wannabes shake that crown. Confidence, remember?" I slid a piece of bread across the tray like it was a peace offering from a flirty CEO. "Here. Eat up. Fuel up for that spirit contract test. I'm counting on you, so don't make me look bad." That spark? It flickered back into her eyes, slow but real. A subtle glow returned to her cheeks, and she nodded like a girl gearing up to prove the world wrong. "Yes. I'll do my best." And right as the mood was just getting sweet, bam. A voice behind us sliced through the air like a badly timed ad break, full of provocation and ego. "Are you Han Zhan?" I turned my head, slowly, smoothly, and spotted a guy sauntering over with Xiao Mei on his arm, his middle part hairstyle flopping like it thought it was part of a K-pop audition. He gave a little scoff, the kind meant to sting but landing more like a sneeze. "Everyone's calling you some kind of SSS grade genius, but honestly, you don't look like much to me." Then, with all the smugness of someone who just found a mirror and fell in love, he lifted his chin and declared, "I am Xiao Mei's spirit contractor, Wang Lu Mao." His tone oozed so much pride it could have filed its own tax return. The moment I heard that name, I snorted. Like, full-body laugh, nearly launched a piece of bread across the table. My brain short-circuited trying to process it. Wang Lu Mao. Bro, what kind of name is that? Were his parents trolling him from birth? My shoulders shook from the effort of holding in my laughter. And of course, Wang Lu Mao's face turned the color of an overripe tomato. Veins started popping like bad CGI as he barked. "What are you laughing at?" I wiped the smirk off my face with professional speed, put on my best innocent golden boy look, and replied, Sorry about that. I just suddenly remembered something super funny from this morning. Couldn't help myself." Cue Xiao Mei's dramatic cold snort. She grabbed Wang Lu Mao's hand like she was starring in a tragic love drama and said, with all the sass she could muster, "Forget it. Don't waste your time on him. He's just a loser destined to be exiled to the lower district. Let's not let him ruin our mood for the exam." Ouch. But hey, flattery through fear is still flattery, right? As the spirit contractor assessment loomed, Wang Lu Mao and Xiao Mei shared one of those power couple but in denial glances, then silently turned away. Even as they walked off, heads held high, I caught the flicker of reluctance in their steps. Like they knew this wasn't the last round. The teacher on stage swept the room with a hawk-like gaze and said sternly, "Each level of this test has different difficulty settings. The rules are simple, pass just one, and you qualify." He raised his voice like a game show host about to drop the million-dollar question. Next up, the first group of testers, Xiaomei and Wang Limao. Please step forward. Instantly, every eyeball in the room locked onto them like it was the finale of Spirit Idol. Whispers buzzed through the crowd, half curiosity, half gossip. At that moment, Xiaomei and Wang Limao strutted onto the stage like they'd already won. Heads high, posture perfect, egos practically floating 6 inches off the ground. Confidence? Oh, they were dripping in it. Then came the dramatic creak of the exam gate opening, slow, intense, like a horror movie about to drop the first jump scare. The air in the room tightened. Students leaned forward. Even the walls seemed to hold their breath. And then it appeared. Out crawled a green insect the size of a baby cow, legs twitching, eyes glowing with, "I will eat your hopes and dreams," energy. Its aura hit the room like a gust of doom-scented perfume, elegant, but terrifying. Wang Limao, previously cool and cocky, suddenly turned into an anxious boyfriend at a haunted house. He grabbed Xiaomei's shoulder like she was the last lifeboat on the Titanic and whispered, "Focus. The test has begun. We need to take this seriously." And just as the words left his lips, bam, Xiaomei transformed. Exuding a fierce aura of "don't mess with me" energy, Wang Limao locked eyes with the charging black serpent like he was auditioning for the lead role in Spirit Wars, Final Boss Edition. The serpent slithered forward with a hiss that screamed murder, and maybe a little drama. Without missing a beat, Wang Limao gripped his glowing spear, aka transformed Xiaomei, with both hands. His eyes narrowed into that deadly, brooding look all the girls in the front row definitely noticed. With a sharp breath and a louder shout, "Break!" he lunged forward, spear aimed directly for the serpent's underbelly like he'd done this in every fantasy action dream he ever had. The spear tip landed with a satisfying thunk, but not the kind that says victory. Nope. More like slamming a plastic straw into a brick wall. Turns out, the serpent's scales were less reptile and more tactical armor. That smug confidence on Wang Limao's face twitched just a little. He didn't like being played by a glorified snake in front of an audience. But did he panic? Of course not. He gritted his teeth like a leading man in a slow-mo scene, knuckles tightening on the spear. "Round 2, baby," he muttered, "probably." Then, boom. Celestial energy burst from the spear in a golden explosion of pure drama. Think, holy fireworks meets divine weaponry. The radiant aura flared, lighting up the whole arena like the gods themselves just hit the power-up button. With a roar and a full-body thrust, every muscle flexing just right, he drove the spear forward. Golden energy surged like a tidal wave of sexy destruction and schlunk, the spear pierced straight through the black serpent. One final death rattle wiggle later, the beast collapsed in a heap of, "Yep, I'm done." The crowd? Lost. Their minds. Gasps echoed. Phones were out. Screams like, "So this is an S-grade spirit contractor? Damn, is he single?" And the massive arena screen? Oh, it was playing that glorious hero moment on loop, spear-piercing serpent in slow motion, sparkles and all. Up in the command room, high-ranking officials watched with their best poker faces. One elder gave a single, approving nod like a Michelin critic tasting gold. Pierced in one strike," he said with the calm of a man who'd seen 20 such moments, but still liked this one. "Not bad." Wei Qing, head of the First Division and self-declared king of outdated swagger, let out a scoff so dramatic it practically echoed. He leaned back like he owned the room and said with a smirk dripping in contempt, "An S-grade talent? And it took that much effort to squash one mutated beast? Please. In my day, we did that before breakfast, with one hand polishing our spirit medals." From across the command room, the elder raised an unimpressed brow. Without even looking, he casually smacked Wei Qing on the head with the flat of his fan. "How many times have I told you, stop calling yourself an old man like it's some kind of honorific. You trying to out-elder me now? Wei Qing winced and rubbed his head, the sass momentarily knocked out of him. Then, ever the cool-headed brainiac, Lin Jingxian, the head of the 2nd Division and the only man who could make pushing up glasses look sexy, adjusted his frames with a flick and spoke in a voice as smooth as freshly brewed tea. By S-grade spirit weapon standards, that strike should have been a clean one-shot. What we saw was at least 20% weaker, and that's being generous. Disappointing. He turned his eyes toward the display like he was reviewing a piece of undercooked steak, and then added, I'd bet money the weapon's leaking spiritual energy. Probably a result of, let's say, an undisciplined lifestyle. And just like that, boom, target locked. Xiaohu, who'd been standing like a proud uncle 2 seconds ago, froze. His face twitched in slow-motion mortification, like someone just brought up that one wild spring festival from 5 years ago. Ahem. Yeah, no smooth comeback for that one. Meanwhile, back at the combat test area, Wang Lu Mao and Xiao Mei had just strutted off the stage after clearing difficulty level 7 like they were walking a fashion runway. They didn't just break the previous Qingting Academy record of level 6, they shattered it, leaving behind a trail of glittering applause and borderline fan screaming. The crowd was eating it up like it was free dessert. Then, it was our turn. I stepped up with Xiaoyu, and instantly, the peanut gallery activated like clockwork. E-grade spirit weapon? Seriously? What's he gonna do, bore the monsters to death? Dude's probably gonna faint before the fight even starts. Polite as ever, the teacher raised his hand and announced with the drama of a game show host. Next up, Han Zhan and Xiaoyu. Please step forward. Boom. Spotlight. Every eye snapped to us like we were walking into a scandal. The test gate creaked open with all the suspense of a horror film, and what greeted us? 10 first-ranked black serpents slithering out like they just RSVP'd to our funeral. The crowd lost its collective mind. Total chaos. Screams, gasps, someone might have even dropped their lunch. Xiaoyu and I locked eyes, both trying very hard to look braver than we felt. And at the same time, we both blurted. You've gotta be kidding me. What's going on here? Is this really the level 1 difficulty test? It looked more like a boss raid from hell. Absolutely unbelievable. Someone in the crowd couldn't help but cackle like they just spilled the hottest tea. Looks like the officials are deliberately targeting him. Serves him right for picking an E-grade trash spirit weapon. They're giving him the humiliation special. The teacher, cool as a cucumber in a 3-piece suit, casually explained. The difficulty of the test is adjusted based on talent levels. For candidates with SSS grade talents, we naturally increase the challenge, sometimes 10 times harder, to sift out the real gems. What they didn't know. Before the curtain even rose, old man Xiaohu had already slithered backstage for a little whisper session with the teacher. Now, that teacher was standing there with a polite smile, but his brain was throwing a party. Sorry, kid. You messed with the wrong people. But me? Oh, I just stood there, cooler than iced espresso on a summer morning. No anger, no stress. Not even a twitch. Because honestly, it was still going exactly how I planned. Well, that's the end of the video, but don't worry, I'll be back. If you enjoyed the content, smash that like button like it owes you money, and hit subscribe so we can make this a regular thing. See you in the next one.